3, 2, 1.
Mic check, 1 2 1 2 1 2. All right, it's time to get into it. What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Real Talk with your boy MD. You know what's crazy? This is the first video drop of 2026. First one. I know, I can't believe it either. I don't know what happened to January, or maybe it's because I was out meeting the team in India live, spending time with some incredible engineers building real stuff. Anyways, let's get back to why we're here today. So I got some special updates to share. For some folks who've been close to my thinking, I've been sharing the state of agentic, where it's going, and how economic value creation in companies is drastically shifting. I've posted a few things on the Real Talk website. If you're interested, be sure to check it out. I also shared a few weeks ago the open sourcing of MDX code, something that kind of just happened. And while also teasing you guys with MDX, a cognitive twin side project that I started during the holiday break. Well, today, it's time to talk a little bit more about what MDX is, what it isn't, how it started, and what's happened so far. So with that, let's get into it. So before I show you anything, let me give you the context of why I even started building this thing, because it wasn't random. If you've been paying attention to what's happening in the AI space right now, you know things are moving fast, like really fast. Every week, there's a new model, a new framework, a new tool, a new update. There's lots of learning happening in the community if you're plugged in. And the question I keep getting from leaders, from engineers, from people across the industry and my network is, what do I do with all of this? Where do I start? How do I not get left behind? And here's the thing that most people get wrong. They think the answer is just picking the right model. Like, should I use Claude? Should I go GPT? Should I go Gemini or Grok? And I get it. That's like the obvious question, but it's the wrong one. The principle I keep coming back to, and I've written about this, is own the orchestration. Don't bet on the model. Bet on the layer above it, because models are going to keep changing. There's like a arms race that's playing out right now. They'll leapfrog one another. What's best today won't be best tomorrow. But if you own the orchestration layer, you stay flexible. You can swap models without rewriting everything. You keep your data where you want it, and you add your own rules and guardrails. That principle is what led to MDX. Okay, so you may be wondering, what is MDX? Before we really get into that, and I know that's why you're here, let me tell you what it's not, because that's important. MDX is not a chatbot. It's not another ChatGPT wrapper. It's not another Ask Me Anything tool that just gives you generic answers. We've used those. There's plenty of those. I'm not trying to compete with that. They're fine, but they're not me. MDX is a cognitive twin. And what that means is it doesn't just answer questions. It answers them the way I would. It has my thinking, my frameworks, my judgment, even my voice, my experience from 20 plus years of building tech orgs. And thankfully, I've collected a ton of data through my career that I was able to use to really tune it. Think about it like this. If you're using any of the chatbots out there today, they have generic responses like, I'd be happy to help you with that. MDX, if you're using it, it starts with, yo, what up? That's not a joke. That's literally the difference. It's actually how I talk. Authenticity was priority number one throughout the entire build. And it's not just one generic brain either. MDX has specialized personas, an advisor for org design and strategy and domain modeling, a coach for one-on-one feedback and difficult conversations, an architect hat for system design and platform thinking. It can shift into a problem solver for first principles breakdown of hard problems, and a compliance persona for governance and regulatory awareness. You ask MDX a question, it figures out which persona should handle it and routes accordingly. That's the multi-agent architecture that underpins a lot of the flow that happens. So here's how it started. And I think this part is important because it speaks to the broader point about what's possible right now. Over the holiday break, I had some downtime, and I had been thinking a lot about this idea of a cognitive twin. Like what if I could capture the way I think, the frameworks I use, the way I approach problems, and make that accessible to people even when I'm not in the room? Why? Because as a leader of a large engineering organization, I can't be in every conversation. I can't coach every person individually. I can't review every architectural decision. There's a scaling problem. And I thought, what if AI could help solve that? So rather than continue thinking about this, I just started building. And here's the wild part. The entire product arc from MDX code to MDX What's becoming MDX OS was built in roughly 6 weeks. Part-time, nights and weekends, just me and the AI tooling. That's it. And look, I'm not saying that to flex. I'm saying that because that's the point. What would have taken a traditional team months, and I mean months, it was done in rapid iterations in just a handful of weeks. And that's not because I'm fast at coding, but because I was architecting and reviewing while AI was executing. So I was orchestrating and AI was basically the workforce. That's the future of how things are going to get built. And MDX is proof of concept for that. I mean, this is the industry shift that's happening right now, is what comes next for the engineering craft. All right, so enough talking. Let me show you the real thing. Let me pull up some MDX screens and flows so you can get a feel for it. Okay, so this is MDX, clean, simple. You see the welcome screen here with some suggested prompts to get started. You can ask about anything from domain modeling to how to handle a tough conversation with a direct report. You'll also notice the sidebar here. It has some chat history, articles. It's a full product, not just a throwaway prototype. And if you click here, you can see the different personas. There's advisor, coach, architect, problem solver, compliance. That's what's out right now. There's more in the pipeline. Each one is specialized. Each one has different contexts about how I think and approach things in that domain. Now, let me ask it something real. Let's go with, go with me on this one. Watch what happens. It's not going to just give me a generic answer from the internet. It's giving me my answer. What would MD say? How would an MD approach this? The way I would think through this, the framework I actually use, the real world experience I've had. That's the cognitive twin in action. Okay, so now with that, let me switch gears. Let me ask it something a bit more on the coaching side. Let's see how it responds to this. You notice how the tone shifts? That's not the same persona talking. The coach picked this one up. Different energy, different approach, but still me. Still how I'd actually walk someone through that conversation. Okay, and here's where it gets a little bit wild. Hey, fire this up, yo. Domains aligned, teams in tech, bound clear, own deep, ship fast, that's the win. Sound good, test it. Yeah, that's my voice. MDX can speak its responses back in almost, it's not fully there, but almost in my voice. So you're not just reading my thinking, you're hearing it. Now, I'm using some open source voice cloning tech to make this happen. It's still a little bit early. Performance isn't fully tuned. And I'm using a cheaper free version. So as I get more into this, expect the voice cloning to get much better. All right, now with that, just a few small features. What you saw is just the front-end chat experience that most people will interact with, right? But here's the thing. That's just the tip of the iceberg. That's not where all the heavy lifting went. In fact, there's a whole slew of features, functionality, foundations that were built in order to support this. And this is where it gets real. So this is the admin dashboard. There's tons of stuff here. You can see usage stats, number of messages, active users, satisfaction rates, response times. The whole point is, in the agentic space, you got to measure everything. So telemetry, observability, metrics are huge. They're paramount. They're baked into the core because you can't improve what you can't measure. And if I go deeper into the metrics, you can see agent distribution, which persona is getting used the most, how response time is trending, what's the thumbs up versus thumbs down ratio. There's even voice drift detection, which tracks when the system starts sounding too much like generic AI and not enough like me. And by the way, it happens. I've had to tune it. I've had to add guardrails. So if it catches a phrase like, I'd be happy to help you with that, that gets flagged because it's not how I talk. Here's a knowledge base. This is where all the documents live that feed the cognitive twin, frameworks, past decisions, org strategy docs. Each one has visibility controls. So some knowledge is public, some is leadership only, and some is just for me. Role-based access on everything. Now, speaking of roles, here's a role management system. 6 visibility levels. Every user gets assigned a role, and that role determines what knowledge they have access to, what articles they can see, what level of depth MDX will go into with them. Full role-based access controls. Invite only with invite codes. There's also a full article system with a markdown editor, so I can publish long-form thinking directly into MDX. And this is the learning loop. The system actually proposes its own improvements. It detects patterns, identifies gaps, and surfaces suggestions for me to approve. That's level 4 agentic capability right there. A system that's learning how to get better at being me. So when I say this isn't a chatbot wrapper, I mean it. There's a full product underneath. Multi-agent orchestration, knowledge management, role-based access control, metrics and telemetry across everything, a learning loop so it's getting better, articles, all of it. And this was built in about 6 weeks, part-time. So that's MDX. That's what I've been building, and I wanted to share it with you because I think this represents something bigger than just a side project. This is what AI native engineering looks like. This is what happens when you stop thinking about AI as a tool you bolt on and start thinking about it as a fundamental part of how you build, how you lead, and how you scale your impact. Okay, and with that, just a few things that are coming up. Number one, I'm working on open sourcing components of MDX so other leaders, engineers can build their own cognitive twins. So be on the lookout for that. The goal isn't for everyone to use my twin. It's for people to see what's possible and build their own. Number two, I'll be sharing more on the Real Talk website. Deeper dives into architecture, the decisions, the lessons learned. And number three, if anyone's interested, start signing up on the wait list for early access. More features are coming soon. For now, that's the update. First video 2026, hopefully not the last. If you made it this far, I appreciate you. Let me know what you think. And check out the Real Talk website for more of my thinking and where all of this is going. All right, so until next time, this has been a Real Talk with your boy MD. Peace.